This was a recording that I made during my last unboxing of Shopper's Quest, where I received a package from a fan of Pro Wrestling Tees merchandise. In the merchandise, I also received a Tessa Blanchard shirt. I then proceeded to go on a tangent about Tessa Blanchard, my stance on the situation, as well as my stance on the current landscape of wrestling in regards to the speaking out movement. If this may make you uncomfortable, or if you do not wish to watch it, and instead want to watch any other video, I completely understand. But I decided to make it separately so anyone can just enjoy the Shopper's Quest on its own, without having to listen to me go on a rant about Tessa Blanchard. So with that being said, here are my thoughts from my Shopper's Quest episode.
This is going to stir some controversy. Now, there's a current female wrestler who, she holds the record now. She can't take it away. It's permanent now. She's the first woman to win a world title, not a women's title, a world title in any American wrestling organization. And her name is Tessa Blanchard. And yes, I'm a Tessa Blanchard guy. Because despite all of the drama, all of the whatever is going on behind the scenes, her in-ring skills do more words than anything she says behind the scenes. Now, I do not condone harassment, issues, things of that nature. However, I feel that there needs to be credibility. Now, for those of you not really in the know of what I'm referring to, around the time that Tessa Blanchard was being booked to become the first ever women's world champion, out of the woodwork, this had never been brought up at all up until this point. Suddenly, once this came wind that Tessa Blanchard was going to become the first woman to win a world title, all of a sudden, all of these wrestlers from the indie circuit and from WWE or whatever, all of them came out of the woodwork and started claiming stories in which they were performing in the indie circuit, they were performing across the sea, and all this stuff. One of the accusations was that she used a racial slur. One of the accusations was that she fist fought someone. One of the accusations was that she was just a horrible person and she abused them. And there's so many things out of the woodwork, to which, here's my problem. Now, after the speaking out movement, I've actually been more understanding when it comes to sexual assault with women and all of that. And I understand that. And I'm not saying Tessa Blanchard has done any of that, because she hasn't. But the major difference as opposed to anyone that understands wrestling, and this is the harsh reality people don't quite understand about wrestling. Women, no matter how big they are still not going to be as big as men. It's not going to happen. At least within the past 30 years. We can all agree on that. Could be in the future will be better, hopefully, who knows. But the point of the matter is, she would be the first world champion, and all of a sudden, these accusations come out of nowhere. Within the same time frame, which even wrestlers in the indie circuit say are extremely suspicious. And the number one thing people don't understand, wrestling is a job. Whether or not you think it's fake or not is irrelevant. It is a job. You get paid to do a task. You are under contract, period. That's it. Could even be freelance contract, it's still a contract regardless. Much like every contract, much like every job, you have to contact the person in charge. In this case, with wrestling, it is the booker. Now, if Tessa Blanchard was actually fist fighting people backstage, if she was actually using racial and insensitive slurs that were so derogatory that they caused people to feel so insulted on a racial and sexual level that they felt obligated to confront her about. My question is, why did no one inform the booker? Booker is essentially the person who is in charge of the show. Why did no one inform any booker in any capacity, ever? That is dumbfounding to me. That's my stance on it, and I feel that I have the same clout I do with anyone who's immediately accused of any crime. I do not immediately assume judgment. I immediately go that the possibility of guilt and the possibility of innocence are within the same ballpark. Therefore, I have a clear understanding that it is all smoke. Their smoke may be fire, but the smoke may also be a fog machine. My point is, if you've done something wrong, and if they had Tessa Blanchard doing all of these things for about 6 years, I think was the earliest the accusations came from, why was nothing done up until this point? Suddenly she's under contract, suddenly she's got a mainstream spotlight, and that's too much for some people. So isn't it reasonable to believe that in actuality what it was Tessa Blanchard was just being sought after by people who didn't like her. I'm just saying, it's a possibility.